I am Juville Dario-Becker, and I'm from Central Virginia Community College. And I'd like to thank Ashley for doing the first part of biology. I'm going to do the second part. And Tammy here did the 3D. And for those of you who may not know it, 3D is also used for creating organs for transplant. So if you haven't seen that thing, you might want to go to, I think, Wake Forest, their Bowman Gray School of Medicine. Anthony Atala is the big guy over there. He's using 3D printer to use, or he's using 3D printer to create, I think they have done blood vessels, the ear. I don't know if they have done the heart yet, but that's what they are using. Anyway, let's go back to biology. For those of you who are in biology, you've heard of the articulated learning outcomes. So for us, we have adopted the 6 articulated learning outcomes for the VCCS. I'm not part of that committee, but it was passed down to us. So the task is to teach the concepts that meet or correspond with the articulated learning outcomes. I'm not going to tell you what they are. It's probably not important to you if you are not in biology, but if you are in biology, you know those 6 articulated learning outcomes. It is a product of the course redesign, which is, of course, part of the re-engineering project of the Chancellor. And lucky for us, we did not have to strive very hard. We already have the vision and change, which is the work of the AAAS, the American Association for the Advancement of Science. It's funded by NSF, and that is the source of our 6 ALOs, or articulated learning outcomes. Now, the question for us then is, what content to deliver, and how do we assess this content? Did our students actually learn what we said they were going to learn? So, to meet these 6 ALOs, I have several sources for the core concepts that are to be delivered. And just like Tammy here, I am also an advocate of the OER, the Open Educational Resources. And for those of you who may not be familiar with this book, this is a product by Rice University, and they are funded by, the big philanthropic organizations like the Gates Foundation, Hewlett Foundation, and so on. So that's my first source of content, the biology textbook. And this is free. Students download this for free. They can print it if they want to. And if you want to adopt this textbook, you can edit it. I have my own version, I just did not bring it. And my colleague at CVCC also has edited her own version. So we now have 2 versions of this textbook, plus the original version. So students will have a choice of what you want to adopt. Now, another source is Citable. How many of you are familiar with Citable? Those of you in biology? This is free. This is from Nature. Nature and Science, those are the 2 big publications. So Citable also has these materials. Now, again, this part of Citable is free, but most of their content is actually copyrighted. Now, I also get my core contents from open educational resources, such as you can see there, Flickr. Maybe some of you there have posted on Flickr. I'm not sure if Pinterest is OER, but is it? Anybody who's been using Pinterest, is that OER? Because if it's OER, you can just grab anything from there. But if it's not OER, you may want to be very careful about that. Now, YouTube. There are parts of YouTube that are OER, like the science section. If you want to subscribe to that, that's also OER. And I have put there the URL, so in case you guys post this on YouTube, I'm not in copyright violation here. All right? Okay, we also have other open educational resources for biology, like Biodata. Anybody familiar with that? This is actually from Canada, but all their resources there are free. And you can tell it's free because it has this thing here which says CC BY. And then, of course, we have TED. TED is also free, although there are some parts of TED that are copyrighted. So you want to be very careful with that when you are trying to adapt some of their resources. Copyrighted materials. Now, the reason I am able to do this because I have contacted specifically, like for example, Duke University. This is a course in genetics, actually. This is a MOOC, the massive open online course from Coursera. I actually took that course. And this is taught by Mohammed Noor. And this is one of the courses that is actually, if you are a student, you can actually take this course. And if you pay like $49, you can actually get credits for this. And maybe your school will accept it. But anyway, after I took the course, I contacted him via email asking for permission to use specifically this particular video clip from that course. And I have his email. I keep it just in case somebody comes around and said that's copyrighted. I have his permission to use it. I'm only using it in my class. I cannot post it somewhere else because it's copyrighted. But in my class, since this is in Blackboard, the students are the only ones that have access to this and not anyone else. Now, over here, HHMI, this is also a copyrighted material, although they actually encourage people to use it. But since it is copyrighted, I cannot just post it any way I want. So it has to be posted on Blackboard, and again, I have there the URL, just in case. So this part here, this is a clip from my own Blackboard course, and this is the link to that video clip, and this is the link to this video clip. So everything is documented. And I think for an online course, because I use this for both online and face-to-face classes. And for the assessment part, I did not post in here any of the assessments that I have done, but I have adapted some assessment materials from other schools. But the way I do it is I actually contact the professor or whoever is managing their resources and say, I would like to adopt your stuff. Is it possible to do that? And then, you go through all these things. Sometimes you have to sign some papers, and sometimes you don't. But I'm not going to bore you with those because those are very technical questions which will probably not interest most of you. But anyway, I have adapted labs. I have adapted some exams and some quizzes and so on and so forth. So that's how I use technology for my class. Thank you. Question?
You are using a lot of open education resource concepts in your biology class. So your biology class it's online class or it's hybrid?
It's hybrid. It's hybrid.
Do you also have a textbook or is purely OER?
It's OER. The textbook that I showed you is open educational resource. It's from Rice University, and I don't know if they have a collaboration with Blackboard, like Pearson and Cengage and so on and so forth. I'm going to ask them, are you guys associated with Blackboard or any of the other learning management systems?
Can you show your course to us so we can see what kind of, how you organize the content?
If I can have access online here, I can do that. How do I do that? All right, so here is my Biology 101 course. As you can see here, standard, whatever you call that, folders. So let's start with the process of science. No, let's start with this one here. This is the chapter guide. By the way, this biology one that you just saw, this is the content from Lumen Learning. For those of you who are familiar with Lumen Learning, I just uploaded this a couple of days ago, but this is how it looks. They have organized it this way. And for example, you want to talk about the foundations, so they already have there. They have the activity, they have the part of the book that the student can read or will read. And there you go. They have the vocabulary and study questions and so on. That is the Lumen Learning, and that's available for adoption for anybody who wants to adopt it. And before that, here is my course. All right, if I can just go back to my course. All right, let's try that again. All right, so here's how I organized my class. So here is my PowerPoint presentation on Instructional Technology, which is this one. I uploaded it on Blackboard just in case I could not have it here. But let's start with chapter 1, for example, study of life. So I have chunked it into specific learning outcomes. So you start with the biology of life, and then you move on to how living things are alike. So as you can see here, I have my learning objectives for this particular section. I have uploaded several video clips. If they are interested in that or not, that's really up to them. So this is how I organized my class. Now, if you want to talk about discussion, we got discussion boards there. Oops, I don't want that. But just like what Ashley has done, it's organized, it's chunked, so the student do not have to gloss over 200 pages of materials. And that's how, is that what you were asking for?
I'd like to see what kind of strategy you use in the online group, such as, I saw you have a button about starting here, so I guess there's some content there you want to introduce you to tell the guy where to start and maybe before.
Okay, start here. So what do I have in start here? Textbook, that's the first thing, right? So here's the link to the textbook, which is what I just showed you, that biology textbook. What's this? Okay, so to purchase the book, if you want to purchase the book, you can purchase it. How to read a book? I have that guideline. How do you read a textbook? Now, question, is it going to be in the test? When is the test? It's all in the syllabus. So I give them this. And then campus resources, I give them what they need to know. Habits of great students, that's a link. If you want to take it, take it. If not, first things first, this is my orientation to them. This is my video orientation. And then here are the 6 articulated learning outcomes that I talk about that only biologists care about. And just to pick their interest, I have this biology detectives here, you know, about the genes and so on, if you want to see that. Too loud?
Are there weeds in my soybeans or soybeans in my weeds? All right, team, what do we got?
Well, the soybeans look exactly the same.
Although this one has weeds and this one doesn't. There's got to be something different between these two plants.
Let's take it back to the lab for an analysis.
Sounds good. You guys get the plants. I don't see any difference here. Yeah, we're gonna have to look deeper, like into the genes. What's a gene?
Gene is the first name of the former Purdue basketball coach.
It's probably the material that's in DNA.
I don't know, something in DNA.
tracking DNA.
Hey guys, come here. I think I've got it. We have trans genes.
What's a transgene?
A trans gene?
I have no idea. Honestly.
Okay, so we'd start here. This is the basic information, and then of course I have the syllabus. And within the syllabus, you have, or I have built in there the time when I will be available. This class was last year. This is not live. The way I am doing it now is I have Blackboard Collaborate. I am using Blackboard Collaborate, but of course, I end up being by myself because none of the students are showing up. Although they said, all right, I will show up at 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. I said, I will be there, let's do that. I end up doing it by myself, so, you know, but I do it because I ask them to send me questions, and I go over that. Yes?
Would you ever consider holding your class at home instead of coming to campus?
Oh, I do it at home when I do Blackboard Collaborate. No, I don't have to come to campus for that. At 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, I do it at home. All right, so course information. So over here, you have all the materials that I would like for you to do, how to study, why I'm not making the grade. I make that recommendation, and I tell them, if you are not making the grade, probably here are the reasons, and maybe these are the things that you can do. How to write a lab report. Many students do not know how to write a lab report. So in addition to the text of how to write a lab report, I have several videos also that I have called out from YouTube on how to write a lab report, but do they ever look at that? I don't know, but it's there. Deadlines, I always get this, but my computer crashed. All right, I already gave you, this is available at the start of the semester. So you know that on June 21st, there is something due. Don't wait for June 21st. At least submit it by June 20th. So all the information that you need is there. Faculty information, course documents, and then assignments. Here's what they do. So here are the links to the assignments. So for example, if you want to look at microscopy, which is one of the assignments, there is a lot of hands-on materials there, so you can name the parts of the microscope if that's what you need to do. And then we have metric measurements. Oops, I'm sorry. Looks like it does not like that one. So let's skip that. Let's try this one here. Oh, I don't know why. This is one of the things that I have with Blackboard. I have issues with Blackboard. This was working like, a year ago. Right now it's not working. I don't know why, but I have to take that up with our Blackboard administrator. But for some of the resources, for example, let's try this one. Oh, same thing. I don't know why. So that's an issue I have with Blackboard at the moment. What was working a year ago is no longer working. And so all of this are available, but let's try the one that is currently available. We'll see. So this class is currently alive. This is an A&P class. This is not Bio 101. So let's see if the assignments is available. Should be. All right, so here's my assignment. And I also do this for the Biology 101 class. This is for the hybrid class. So I give them this assignment. This is a scavenger hunt. So they have to go through the whole Blackboard in order to be able to answer this. What is the maximum number of students allowed in a group? Now, the only way they'll find that out is if they go through the whole Blackboard page. And I also give them this information on how they should complete the document. And I take off points if they do not follow this instruction. And then, they start complaining. I said, hey, one of the skills that we want you to develop here is following instructions or paying attention to details. And I asked them, to complete this, you have to have a title page and then copy each numbered questions. And how many students actually do that? They just answer this directly. And sometimes if they submit it really early, I return it and say, please read the instructions and improve your work for a better grade, better score. And some of them do that. And so these are the questions that I have, and the only way and I give them the option. If they are going to use APA, be consistent, use APA all throughout your work, or MLA, or AMA, or Chicago. So I give them the option. I'm not a stickler to just one. Like, for example, the English people, you are using MLA, is that right? And the psychology people are using APA. Personally, I prefer Chicago. That's just how I do my publication. But you can use any of this for as long as you are consistent. What else do we need here? Case studies. I use a lot of case studies. Talking about the flipping part, the end part where you integrate all the information that you have learned in this chapter, for example. To summarize what you have learned in this unit, I give you a case study. And the case study is a group work. So it's a collaborative work. So how do you do that if you are in an online class? Well, in Blackboard, I create the group. Let's see if I got a group here. I create that group, and when you have a group, one of the things that you have is you have the file exchange, you have your own group blog, you have your own discussion board. I don't know. See, they have not used that. So I'm using the functionalities of Blackboard to enable them to collaborate, even if they're not doing this face-to-face. Anything else? Question? Yes.
So do you do any online, do you lecture or give your students your face at all, or is this kind of
the only thing that I do there is let's see, for chapter unit guide, I have this introduction.
Hello, and we are now ready to start.
Okay, so that's my introduction. Yes, for every chapter, that's how I introduce it.
And then so your objectives that you have listed here go back to the overall course goal?
Exactly, yes. And every time I do an assessment, like if I do a case study, for example, I give them the rubric for how the case study is going to be graded. In fact, it's in the course information. So writing the lab report about exams, deadlines, about case studies. So I give them the rubric for the case studies, how the case studies are going to be graded. It's just a Word file, but I give you accuracy, etc., how many points you get out of that, and I give you exactly how you are going to complete it. So it's there. One of the things that I actually have created that enable them to do is the discussion essay. And for the discussion essay, this is very timely, very thematic. For example, the discussion essay we have for this is, all right, I'm sorry. The topic for this last discussion essay that we have is on autonomic neuropathy. Okay, so here is my rubric. Here is what you need to do to earn the credit. Here is the link. And here is how you're going to be graded. And these are the links to the prompt. So if you read that prompt, okay, so it's not working right now. So, and they have written their discussion essay, and this is where they have their discussion. So somebody wrote the essay, and they said, it's shocking to know how common these pathologies are, et cetera, et cetera. And then she said, thank you. And then she said, hey, your essay helped me understand autonomic neuropathy a little better. Imagine being one of the 30% so-and-so. So this is where you create the community. Now, in addition to that, of course, there is the real discussion board where they talk a lot. So yes, that is the community. Other questions? And I'm using open educational resources here.
Go ahead, one question about the OER. How much is it for them to print the book?
They don't have to, I don't know about here, but at CVCC, every day they can print 5 pages for free. Okay, so then I don't know, however much you cost them. And the thing is, they do not have to print the whole book. Let's say page 48 and 49 is giving me problem. Those are the only pages I'm going to print.
But if they wanted a printed book is what I'm asking.
You can buy the whole printed book, this thick, for like $52 from OpenStax, which is at Rice University. You guys familiar with OpenStax? No? Yes, you are? They have psychology, statistics, physics, biology. They have also the baby biology. I call it the baby biology. You know, this is the biology for supposedly 9 majors. The one that I showed you is for majors. It's really, I actually have the edited version that I did. So I own the copyright to the version that I edited. And another colleague of mine also edited her own version. Mine is a lot thicker than hers because mine is designed for both face-to-face and hybrid or online, however you want to call it. Hers is designed primarily for face-to-face. So you can edit the book, and you own the copyright to whatever you edit. And I use Lulu, which is a publishing service. And Lulu is charging, at least for my version, which is this thick, Lulu is charging $20 for the book and $10 for shipping and handling, so that's $30. Hers, Shannon's, is about half as thick, and they're charging $11, I think $5 for shipping and handling, so that's $15. But that's only for the first part. Now, remember, that whole biology is for Bio 101 and Bio 102. And by the way, they have A&P too. So I'm using the A&P also of OpenStax. So my classes are free. But do students actually take advantage of this? No, some of them still go to the bookstore and still buy whatever has been adapted. And they just said, I just want to have a physical copy. And I said, you can do 2 things. You can print the whole textbook. I know the printing ink is very expensive. Or you can just go to OpenStax and buy it there for $52 or $55, as the case may be. But again, they have to go through the bookstore in order to use their financial aid money. And so now we are trying to make arrangements with the bookstore. But of course, the bookstore will always stock in something above and beyond whatever is their published price.